Holding in your sin is a very dangerous thing to do, and there's a reason for that. Many of us need to talk about our issues, whether they're sinful or not. Just any problem we're having, we need to voice them so that an open ear can hear them and give a perspective as well as other support that can help us along a path. There's a big chance that when we're in a sinful place, we don't really know how to get out of it. Or if we do, we don't really have the means to pushing ourselves. If we're in a sinful place, we're probably not going to want to get out of it because there's a lot of work to be done, and doing it alone is extremely overwhelming. But the problem with that is that we might not want to tell people because we're afraid of judgment. Well, building friends and family that are, trustworthy is of course a good way to make sure that you don't feel that way. But even then, you might still feel like you're going to get judged or something else. So I implore you, from experience, to voice these sins, to repent to your fellow man as well, to actually give yourself a chance and a risk even to go and be received as the sinner that we all are. Because when we get boxed in to the sin that we're committing or any hardship, the isolation feels like a straitjacket that no matter how much you try to break free, it only tightens more. And the more it tightens, the more defeated you might get to being stuck in that straitjacket, in that binding hold. That's never a good way to live. And if you live that way for long enough, eventually you might build up such a rage, such an anger of being trapped that maybe you'll break out of that straitjacket, but you're going to be a rampaging gorilla going all over the place, frustrated at all the pain that built up. And you might lash out on people. That might be a thing that happens. And so building up the courage, for example, like with me, I hold pride within me a lot. And I try to be humble. I try to, put humility out into the world on the outside, but inside sometimes there is a raging prideful storm trying to justify how I'm enough or greater. And if I keep that unchecked, I'm eventually going to build up this elevated view, or maybe even this view that's below because I can't reach that standard, and maybe say or do something that is sinful or just wrong in general in front of people. And if I do that, I'll end up feeling very guilty, and I might hurt someone or myself, with their feelings, and I don't want that. But if I can admit to people that I'm struggling with pride, if I can say, hey, I'm feeling pretty prideful right now, I'm struggling with my self-image, and I just don't want to build up an ego, people will be able to receive it, and one, understand that, he's dealing with something. If something happens, I know why. But also, two, they might be able to support. That support is crucial whether you're Christian or not on any sort of situation. Never box yourself in. Don't let the straitjacket get tighter. Try to get out of it before it even tightens at all, before the lock gets put in, Try to break out. Because at the end of the day, that short-term fear and maybe even the short-term consequence of repenting in front of people is far less severe than the long-term consequence of sin building up and you hurting yourself or, God forbid, others. You don't want that because it's not a reality that is something that anyone deserves. We all need to make sure we treat ourselves with the understanding that we have, that we need to have with each other, and be courageous and bold with our friends and family, our fellowship, to get help for the sin that we commit. Because, hey, why not? I'm sure that anyone who's ever been through this needs support, and it's good to reach out for it against all fears. Don't let the fear build up inside you, and don't let the devil win. I got you.